Hello everyone, Siri Emerald here, and this will be a review video of the Hot Toys Marvel Iron Man 3 Heartbreaker Mark 17, and I just want to go over some of my thoughts and impressions of him after owning him and enjoying him for this past week. Now, first off, I want to say that it's a great piece. I do want to comment though that when they first announced the die-cast Hot Toys figures, this was one of the ones that they showed as being, or should have been, a die-cast figure. It is not die-cast. It is all plastic, and that's fine. 6 of one, half dozen of the other, I suppose. I haven't actually owned a die-cast figure yet, but he's a good figure. The initial prototype pictures of him as well showed him as not being battle damaged, and even though this is real slight battle damage, it's nice. I like the battle damage edition, especially since no other pieces came with them that were alternately interchangeable as battle damaged. So I'm not a big fan of the total battle damage or extreme battle damage, but that's fine. Everybody has their own opinion or thoughts of how they like things, and every collector. That's the beauty of this art, is that there's so many different things or ways you can do. I've seen modified figures, I've seen extremely damaged figures, I've seen repainted figures, and it's great. We get to express ourselves, we get to collect what we want, and it's a great hobby to get involved with, and I'm glad that I followed into this. Budget Stark probably was one of the guys that really lit my fire in regards to these. So thank you, Anthony, for all your time and effort and everything that you've done for the industry. Totally on your own time. I think a lot of people take advantage of that and don't realize that you're not getting compensated for this other than your own passion and love for this field. So anyhow, let's talk about this figure some more. It's a great looking piece. I really like the hot rod red and the gold. It's classic Iron Man colors in my opinion. Some people will say that the Silver Centurion is classic Iron Man, and this really is a new universe. It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think they called it Earth 1999-999. Maybe there's another 9 in there, I forget. So these aren't exact duplicates of what the comics were. They've literally created their own figures newly, and I think they've done a great job. A lot of people complain that there have been repaints or the lack of imagination in them because they use the same pieces over and over again. And that was really the movie industry did that. It's not Hot Toys. Hot Toys literally is following the designs that were given to them by the movie houses. And I hope they make every single one of them. I hope all 45 armors come out, or that's what they have so far, is 45 armors plus all of the versions of Ultron and all the Iron Legion. I hope they make every single one of them. I really do. I'd like to see extremist people. I'd like Pepper Potts to have her own figure. Just make them all. Go for it. I'll buy every one of them. Anyhow, let's talk about the articulation on this piece. His feet move quite well. His toes go up and down. They have a little piece here that gets out of the way as that moves. When his leg bends in this angle like here, you'll notice that this knee, first off, you'll notice back here the calf retracts in, and that's neat. And then the knee actually bends in 2 places, with this piece even coming down out of it. And that's to give you some more bending ability through that. So it was really cleverly designed how they made all of these pieces capable of making different movements in that regards. The leg here twists a little bit, like so, without the ball joint moving at the hip, so the hip can stay while the leg moves around there, which is going to give you some movement, as well as the ball joint moves around quite a bit, and which allows you to open up. Pulled a little too hard. Allows them to open up there for that regards. They popped right back in pretty easily, and we see here that the waist, these pieces move up here on the waist to enable you to move that around as such, and his waist moves in 2 pieces there. These are articulated as such to allow you to give him quite a bit of movement, in my opinion, for his waist, and to do his little crunches and back bends like such. And that just slides in and pops open to allow you to be able to do that. And the little shoulder pieces here flip up out of the way so that the arms can be moved, and they move quite a bit, and the arms then can pivot as such, and also can as well go around in unnatural poses all the way back to where it shouldn't be. Now remember, Tony Stark is supposed to be inside this figure, so the arm wouldn't normally move like that. And then let's show you the elbow joint here. Now this is all a hard plastic instead of a rubber, so you don't have to worry about that coming apart. Some of the pieces have the rubber in the elbow joints, which tend to degrade or fall apart. This is, by the way, a hard plastic instead of the rubber, so that's going to be good for keeping around. Now this is the little rubber here, little soft plastic for the waist. So you have to keep in mind the rubber pieces may end up fading. It's hard to say. We'll know in time as the collectors continue with these pieces. So anyhow, let's get back to the elbow joint here. And again, just like the knee, you see multiple bending locations there, and which is going to give you a lot more movement for that feature. And of course, the hand comes off at the wrist so that you can put the other hands that come with it on there. The little lights up. In here, you do have to install your own batteries, and that's quite a feat. Maybe I'll take the batteries out and show you how that goes in. It took me a while to figure out the best way to do it. I probably spent maybe an hour or so dropping the batteries, picking them back up, having them pop out, fly all over the room, chasing them down before I finally figured out a good way to do it. I'll give you a hint. That little plastic screwdriver they give you does not work worth a flip as far as putting the batteries in. It's good for taking the little back piece off if you need that for that, but as far as taking the batteries off, it's not going to help you one bit, or putting the batteries in, it's not going to help you one bit. And this is the repulsor hand. It's always up like that. One thing I didn't much care for is that the hand, when the light is on, if you don't have the hand right in the exact spot, the light doesn't travel through properly. So either be dim or bright depending on where you have the hand. I wish that wasn't necessarily the case, but I like the little colors that they've done to the hand. They really put a lot of time and effort into this piece. The lights really work well. They light it bright enough. At night, he really looks really nice. I like that they, oops, dropped my back piece there. I like that they hid the switches inside the back of the armor, but sometimes I hate that I have to take that off just to flip a little switch on. Sometimes I almost wish that the switch was visible just so I could flip it real quick. I don't know if these are supposed to be lit up. It'd be nice if they were. If they are, if not, maybe they're supposed to vent. Maybe they're cooling vents. I'm not sure what they are, actually. I do like the fact that there's little lights here on the side. This is really cool. The extra lights, I really thought that was really neat. Another thing that I've heard different collectors mention is the fact that every head sculpt has a different way of accessing the lights. And I wish there was one way that they would do it for all of them. Maybe because of the different head designs, it's impractical or not feasible for them to do. I do like that this head and neck are separately pivotable. They can move around as such, and the head can rotate all the way around with taking into careful consideration before doing that. But it's not real articulated. He can look down, he can look up, but his flight pose is kind of limited. He can't necessarily look all the way up in that regards. But that's really minor in that regards. So that's how he's articulated. That's how he moves about. I really enjoy him. Pick that piece up and put that back on here in a moment. I think he's a good figure. He's well thought out. The designers designed him well. I really enjoy him, and I'm glad to have him. He's pretty sturdy. He stands up pretty well on his own without having to be messed with too much, which is always a good sign, so you don't have to spend so much time messing around with him. And thank you very much for watching my video. Subscribe, click on the links below, and tell me what you think. If you have one, tell me what your thoughts are, and happy collecting.